Yeah, what is the plan right now? I mean, at some point, you're going to bring up Andy Rodriguez, right? He's going to be thrown into that catching mix. Who do you let go? Hedges, Delay? I mean, don't you think Henry Davis should at least get some time behind the plate?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he was doing at Double-A and Triple-A. They were getting him ready to play in the majors. Now, you know, if they felt like he can't play catcher or he's not going to be a catcher at the major league level, number one, why did you use the first overall pick on him if he's just an outfielder? And if you are serious about making him a catcher, then give him a real opportunity. If he had somebody blocking him, like at the beginning of the year, Rodriguez was considered a better catcher, so he blocked him. Rodriguez was at Triple-A. That made it so Davis had to go back to Double-A for another year. But now he's being blocked by a guy hitting 170 and by a guy that's a career backup, a guy that almost quit baseball a couple of years ago in Jason Delay. Is Hedges a better defensive catcher right now? Of course he is. But how much does that really matter? How much in the big picture, the grand scheme of things, does Austin Hedges stealing a strike or two really matter? He's only on a one-year contract. He's not going to be here for long. The Pirates are now 3 games under 500. They've lost 8 in a row. They should put Henry Davis's development first, and I think that means giving him a chance to be an MLB starting catcher.
Yeah, at what point do you just forget about the season and you think about the future and the development of guys like Henry Davis? So I would throw him back there. What do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose by putting him behind the plate, and just let him work out the kinks or work out whatever you have to do. I'd much rather see him make mistakes back there than, like you said, Austin Hedges going 1 for 20 at some point. And, you know, he is a good defensive catcher, right? But he's not great. It's not worth it. He hasn't been the best defensive catcher for the Pirates. You know, he hasn't won games behind the plate.
He's only good at one thing that's measured, and that's pitch framing, which is important, changing balls and making them strikes, giving pitchers better counts. If it's a 2-2 pitch, getting a guy strike instead of a ball that makes it a full count. I mean, that's not unimportant, but when you're that bad of a hitter, when you have catcher interference calls against you, when you can't throw anybody out, I think that those things need to be a consideration too. He's a black hole. It's like you're playing every night with 8 hitters against 9. And I don't think his intangible qualities, what he does for pitchers, is enough to justify that kind of offensive output, especially when you are grooming guys to take over the position like Henry Davis.
All right, so before we go, so what do the Pirates do? Do they draft Cruz if they're going to keep Henry Davis in the outfield? Do they draft another outfielder?
Well, I want them to draft Cruz because I think there's a better chance Cruz turns into a great player than Skeens. I think there's a better chance the outfielder does it than the pitcher. I think that's a safer bet, and both guys have huge ceilings. If one was considered better than the other, if Skeens was better, then I would say take the pitcher, take the best prospect. But since they're equal, I think you're better off taking the hitter. And I know they need pitching, but they also need a real legitimate star bat in their lineup. I hope it's O'Neal Cruz. I hope Henry Davis is one of those guys too. Brian Reynolds is a very good player, but he's not a star. He frustrates me, Richie. I know he's going to drive in a good amount of runs, but it seems like he hasn't hit a home run since the beginning of the year. And like, he doesn't have the body language of a leader. I don't see him out there acting like he wants to be the guy that's the captain of the team, that takes losses hard and motivates teams after those games. No, I think he just wants to go out there, hit his 280, and hit 20 home runs and drive in 70 or 80. Okay, that's fine, but he's also now making $100 million, and it's okay to expect more than that from Brian Reynolds now that he's the highest paid player in Pirates history.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Only 3 home runs since he signed that big deal. All right, we got a jam-packed phone lines. We're taking those phone calls when we come back. 412-575-2600 is the number on the Borders to Borders hotline. Back in a couple minutes.